Hello, everyone, to another episode of Vision Vanguard. Kind of a really quick episode from last week. I'm your usual person on here, our usual crew, Sage from Vision.
Hey guys, the Alphonse user team Grey Long T Vision signing in again.
And Chris here from Vision, lore master, so to speak,
Oh,
and working on some Vanguard Zero stuff as well. So
great.
Get excited for that.
Zero Master. All right. So I'm happy to be with you guys here again today. So quick. It's only been a week. So let's just kind of get into it. We had a lot more news than usual since they had they had a restriction list again. And they also had some more reveals. And then we also had our Spring Cup finals last weekend. So we'll kind of be going into that today. We're going to start with actually the Spring Cup finals. So due to some strange circumstances, we're going to be doing our top 8 for standard this Saturday. So if this video is released on Friday, it'll be tomorrow. Check out the Vision Discord for that. If you did qualify, and I mean, if you were in that top 8, you probably already contacted and know about this, and you'll just be playing that top 8 out. So check that out. We do have our Twitch renamed to Cardfight Vision, twitch.tv/Cardfight Vision. And it's been pretty fun. It was, I did a lot of commenting this last weekend, especially for standard. And premium, we had a lot of Maxime and Chris and Kai and Karan, and then someone else from WCC. And it was just actually super exciting to actually watch. Big numbers.
Get a whole party going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's just the beginning. Even though that the circuit's pretty much all wrapped up coming this Saturday, but believe me, it's only going to be hopefully the first of many.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of a good test period to know what we can do in the future, right? We could still iron out some things like some rules or things like that. Like, for example, I think a big controversy is disconnects, right? How do you guys feel about like disconnects in Cardfight area, like in a tournament setting?
I think the disconnects, I would give them the benefit of the doubt the first time, but then if it comes up again, then that's where we're probably going to have to take some action, because there are always going to be shenanigans, and that's fine, especially with people having unequal access to internet, not sure how the disconnects are going to be happening. So of course you have to get the facts and see, when did the disconnect happen? Was this a rage quit? Was this just a random turn that it happened? But giving it the benefit of the doubt, that's fine. But then if it keeps becoming a habit, then we're going to have to make sure that the integrity of the tournament is still there, because we don't want disconnects happening that much. So we could have a safety valve on it, but then be ready to pull that safety valve when we do need it.
Yeah. And go ahead, Chris.
Oh yeah, I was like, I definitely agree with that kind of mentality, but it's also like so difficult. I think personally, like from the flip side, even if you do give people the benefit of the doubt, it's great. But then you also tend to really extend the rounds by letting them like kind of restart the game if they have to. And I know that that's kind of like a major dig, because even if you give people that one chance, like different people might have issues different rounds, and then you end up like doubling the length of the tournament, which can get iffy. So it's like it's definitely a hard decision, whichever like side of the fence you take.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I kind of really see it as, if it seems like it's malicious intent, or let's say like that's a big thing. If you have a kind of a past history of this, it's also another thing, right? So it's, as Alphonse says, like you might be given like a warning, but like, if it's a very common thing, then you'll probably just we won't side with that, right? But I don't know how I would do it personally, besides just that malicious intent and things like that. And it's just a really unfortunate thing that we can't really control, especially on CFA,
Yeah.
But I mean, we can just do the best we can in this fun card game, right? Yeah, it's very interesting. So, okay, we had 32 players in this premium tournament. As you can kind of see, it's pretty Bermuda heavy. If you look at how many people played, there were 6 Bermuda, 5 Dark Irregulars, 4 Neo Nectar, for like sort of like the number of clans, right? I'm sure most people didn't switch their clans for what qualified.
Yeah, I would doubt that.
Yeah.
I would just stick with what I qualified with, if it were me at least.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
don't know about you guys.
I think that's what a lot of people did. There's probably one person or something that changed something at least in their deck, right?
Yeah, you would have to really research into the other opponents that qualified and playtest, thinking that okay, they're probably going to bring the same deck that they did, but that's the only outlier. If anyone just really looked into who played, who topped, they checked the VODs, and they're thinking, all right, maybe instead of the deck that I qualified with, maybe this would be the deck that'll best counter it. But the
Mhm.
fallacy with that is that you're going to come into matchups with maybe some of the other parts of the 32 that you didn't want to face against. So all that research could have gone to waste.
Yeah.
But of course, that's just the luck of the draw, especially with people wondering who's going to be facing whom, especially from like round 1 onwards.
Yeah, absolutely. And sort of an interesting kind of outcome. For top 8s, like listen, it's 32 people, so there's less people wins you have to do, and like a few people who go 3 wins and 2 losses can get into the top 8. Which is pretty interesting. So you can actually kind of do a lot more crazy things, right? So as you see here, we have 4 Bermuda, 3 being a pure Riviera build, and 1 being a Caro Expo build, as they call it, right? Just it runs a lot more. It runs a lot more melody units. The Grade 2 Sonata. It still runs Trois. It still runs Riviere. Just because Trois is a really strong card, right?
Oh yes, definitely. Just the premium potential with Bermuda has gone from a random rogue deck, and then as they keep getting more support, starting with Harmony onwards, it just became a beast of a clan. And now seeing just half of the top 8 with some sort of Bermuda variant is, it seems to be expected, especially with just the power output that they can do. And the multi-attacking.
Yeah,
it's insane.
And we haven't had a tournament in real life where Bermuda was kind of full online. Like basically Worlds ended and then Bermuda came out, and then it was like, well, this is like it's really strong, Like maybe Japanese isn't picking up that fast, right? Maybe Gold's just outshined it, but now Gold is kind of out of the picture. Like this is here. So
yeah, it's crazy that like I feel like Bermuda has just like slowly kind of crept up throughout the Spring Cup, right? Like you're kind of like, oh, they're pretty good, and then like they start taking more and more tops, and then now in the finals it's like half of the top 8.
Yeah. So interesting with that too. There's no Dark Irregulars. They didn't do too well. No Kagero, which did really well. I think it seemed really impressive. I think someone switched their deck to Link Joker. There's one Link Joker here. I joked about that being like some terrible deck. Why is this in here? But maybe that was I guess it was a call. The call they wanted to do.
Yeah, they placed their bet. They thought, okay, maybe this would be the best counter.
Yeah, not sure who that was. I'll look into that. But it was interesting at the least to see that it was there. So anyway, on our top 8, we had the 4 Bermuda, 2 Neo Nectar. So this is the last time Katrina could be used because we did get the updated ban list. Surprise, surprise. And then actually got first and second in our Swiss rounds. So really dominant in that sort of way. And then Platinum with his Pale Moon build.
Go Platinum.
Nightmare Dolls?
Yeah, it was basically Nightmare Doll. And honestly, this deck has answers to everything. We'll talk about that in a minute. But Luar Gize it was farming really early. We were watching it, and all of a sudden it was 3-0, and we're like, oh, this guy's getting a top 8. You can't sleep on it. And I feel like a lot of its matchups were Neo Nectar. And it's kind of funny because they have that Megalomo play. But basically, what it kind of learned to do was like keep it at 0 damage, and then deal him 5 damage, and then deal him another 5 damage, right?
Oof.
Yeah, because Megalomo, I guess Luar just plus is a little too hard.
Yeah.
Right? And they have a lot of cards that have high shield value. So.
Yeah, and you can kind of like search out Honolulu and stuff, so it's not too bad on the defensive end.
And I just realized this, that Honolulu, if you have 2 of them out, they have to counterblast 2 for the 5th battle. So I'm like, that's pretty impressive. Yeah.
It's good at slowing things down. Like Luard will grind out opponents' mindsets to thinking, what turn is this? Oh my god, if they put back that owl again into their damn deck, I'm going to flip a table. Like it's you have to be super patient with Shadow Paladins, but especially when you're in a timed match, it's just all right, just do it, go, and just hope to God that they just mess up somehow. But it's a tank. It's really, really a tank of a deck.
I'm curious. Were they using the like PG interceptor?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because
Eagle.
I've seen some of that tech. Yeah, the eagle. You just keep boop, and then you like put it back in your deck, and you like search it out or whatever.
And you can use the
Just
main.
keep doing it. You just
you
get
can
so
use-
much defense. Yeah,
It's actually really good. You just get like
super
if
dirty.
your opponent goes for like a kill turn, you throw 2 of them on rear guard, call it a day. And you have.
What do you do?
It's actually I play GB8 against it sometimes, and you're just like you have to like prepare for the Hanali, and then so you can retire with bad end, and then just they have 2 eagles that can intercept 2 attacks. So it's just more it's just some easy defense tools.
Yeah, that's actually really annoying that you can just get like two PGs and then like you have Hanali sitting there.
Yeah.
Dang. Yeah, that defense. The defense.
Yeah. And they still have more Festa. Actually, no, they got Gize for this one, right? So, yeah. I think he went to more Festa like one time just to like attack rear guards.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
They draw 2, right?
Yeah, and you also get to retire some rear guards, so you actually build up quite a weird. Because some the crits,
Right.
there are like some crits in the deck that if they're retired, you can like draw cards or something like that.
Yeah.
So
That's the owl that Alphonsus was raging about.
Oh, okay, yeah. I thought it was I was thinking it was a stand owl, but no, it's a different card. Okay.
Oh yeah, the you have the eagle that's a stand trigger. Then you get 2 zeros out, and then the owl crit trigger. That pretty much you can just retire, draw a card, and then at the end, oh hey, I hit ritual. Let me just shove this owl to the bottom of the deck.
Yeah. And so, kind of funny, in our top 8, everybody had to face Bermuda in some capacity, except for Bermuda didn't have to face Bermuda, like for round 1, right? So, 3 Bermudas made it on to top 4, and Platinum was able to basically beat all of them. I don't really. It was kind of a nail biter, the finals, to be honest, because I think there actually might have been a disconnect.
Oh my word.
But yeah, so it's more controversy, right? But
Stressful.
he did lose game 1 because Riviere is a little fast. But I mean, this deck has answers to everything, right? It draws cards during your opponent's turn with a grade 1 PG. It's you can use Tricky Assistant to pseudo Denial Griffin. You can if your deck's running low, you want to do you far field to like put a bunch of standing crits on top of your deck and have Alice loops with what's this grade 1 called? Leslie? Yeah. And if in the ultimate case where you're getting really rushed, you just dust them and laugh, right?
That dust play is so funny.
And in every card, it seems like one of these old G cards. And I feel like this is like Platinum played it super well. Like he said he was super tired, but he's playing flawless Pale Moon. I feel like if people were really good, this could be like basically a tier 1 deck. If everyone could play this deck.
Damn. Nightmare Dolls really taking it to top 8 or even just higher premium format because they've been creeping around for a while. But I remember there was Magia loops and other different combos you can do with them. But seeing Nightmare Dolls kind of there, but now really proving themselves, especially in a tournament like this. Wow.
I think the big thing in real life too, people have to consider time. And I think that's always the biggest issue why people don't do Leslie's. If you play this deck, you have to be really fast. And even then, like in Bushiroad, that's why they limited Dorian to like 1. Because there was even more interactions with that. So you can just like still draw a ton of cards, like twice as much. You can double Dorian in like 1 turn. And basically things were taking way too long just because of the way the turns went. And I mean, it's always going to be an issue, but if people learn how to do that, I really suggest you go out there, like look at this guy's build, maybe try it out. And I think it's like a pretty really good deck. Like if he can run it Platinum, if he can play it, like why can't you, right? Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah, that deck really excites me. Actually, both of these like 2 kind of like roguey decks, the Lured Geese and the Pale Moon Nightmare Dolls, they like excite me because you're like, oh, this is this new deck that not like a new deck, like a deck that people weren't really thinking about that clearly has a lot because they both top 8'd their qualifiers at least to get here, and they made a top 8 in the final. So very impressive.
Very much so. Awesome. Anything else on this premium or just our tournaments? Like,
not really.
So this weekend, as remember, tomorrow is going to be standard finals, and then the weekend after that is going to be teams. So 3-man teams, kind of like how Spring Fest is. So show up. Signups will be posted on the Discord. check that out. Nothing's on the line, just for fun. It'd be great. I don't know if you guys are getting your team together. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Team League. Let's go.
Big. And then the next kind of topic I wanted to talk about was the reveals we had today. And so sort of the restriction list first, right? So just kind of go in order they gave it to us. I watched it live, and basically most people kind of troll in the chat, by the way, in the YouTube chat.
Oh dear.
They see Hyuga and they're like, "Oh no, it's banned. It's banned. It's banned." And oh no, they changed it. They changed it so it's an errata, right? Basically, nothing's changed. It just changed the wording. Maybe it's weird in Japanese, and it was kind of weird in English, but it just changed the wording. So nothing's changed with Hyuga.
Supposedly, the thing it changed in Japanese or something. I clarify me if I'm wrong. Yell at me in the comments or whatever. But it seems to like that it used to like target in the Japanese wording.
Yeah.
So now it doesn't.
Oh yeah, because there was the thing before you couldn't, like, let's say target one of your opponent's units, maybe, and now it says before it said choose one of your opponent's units grades.
Yeah.
And then now it's choose any of your opponent's units grades. They choose the word from one to any. Anyway, just so you know, like, don't freak out. I'm sure anyone who watches this podcast is pretty educated. You guys are pretty big brain out there. You know, like, what's already going on. But if you didn't know, nothing changed with the Hyuga, right? Just calm down, right? YouTube chat, stop being such a troll.
I don't even know why they did that. It was just like, why?
Yeah, like, we should switch this. Maybe something.
Honestly, I think every time they should come out with an errata at the beginning of it, just to scare everybody. Like, why would they do this? Why would they ban the main? Or I don't even know. Like, it's just any card.
Oh, right? God.
I'm surprised. Yeah, they also have a reprint list, and they didn't ban any of the cards on the reprint list, so they did pretty good, right? Usually, if they do sometimes, they'll like come out with the card and ban it, like Yu-Gi-Oh.
That would suck.
Yeah, it's pretty funny, actually. So the next thing we had was Violence Flanger and Hardleg was banned in Standard. So I feel like a lot of people had kind of problems with this. Like, I've always kind of said that the best winning condition in Standard, or in Vanguard in general, is guard restrict, because you just can't do anything about it. And I felt like this was like the crutch sort of holding up Grand Blue at the moment, you know? And it was the biggest crutch ever holding up Dark Irregulars right now. I think what they were trying to do here was preemptive bans for future support, basically future-proofing the format. In Standard, I mean, I don't think people play these cards at Premium. People do play Hardleg in Premium sometimes, but I don't think it's like a superior build compared to what's out there now. But anyway.
Yeah. Violence Flanger was an interesting hit just because it was pretty much a consistent game ender for Grand Blue. Like, there's nothing scarier than having to look down, oh, what can I not guard with? What cards did you discard? And it just came in really hot just to say, like, all right, you can't, if you thought you could guard me, you're not going to guard me anymore.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. And I think that with the way that Grand Blue is going, maybe if they give them a different game ender, that definitely would have been something a lot crazier and a lot more ways for Grand Blue to try to, okay, we gotta see if we can end the game because maybe Violence Flanger overdid it. For Hardleg, I think that maybe instead of Hardleg, people are just gonna go Hope on Dump and then try out that particular card instead.
Sure.
So these two hits, it sucks because they're both Protect matchups, and Protect isn't really doing the finest work in the meta right now.
Yeah.
But maybe this could be a sign of different things to come.
Yeah. But I think people just didn't like having that, like, no option to guard, right? Because that's basically what these kind of do. Like, I personally played Dark Irregulars because of Hardleg, because it was really strong. And then I feel like a lot of people might play Grand Blue because of Violence Flanger, you know? With both those gone, it's kind of super annoying, but to be honest, I mean, I could see why they would do that. But it's kind of weird that I really wish they would have waited, be like, hey, this next support, we're going to ban it later. So now people's Dark Irregular decks in Standard are, like, kind of useless. They weren't exactly in the best spot to begin with. but now they're like not anywhere to be seen. Probably.
Yeah, now they're like in kind of like a really crappy spot until like a couple months, right?
Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah, the next reveals are up.
yeah, kind of wild.
A little rough.
Interesting. So yeah, and then I think the final thing, more important thing, is Katrina got banned, right?
Outright, just completely restricted.
Just completely cut. I have 4 of these in my binder, a stride version. We were gonna sell them, $20 each, right? Hit me up. No, anyway, we didn't really buy them for that much, so it's not really that big of a loss, right?
Right.
We got when they're very cheap. So anyway, yeah, it's just too good of a card, They probably released that Neonectar stride a little too early, but the new Asha one. So we'll see where they go in premium. Like they definitely had their option with that card, but Katrina was like probably the biggest elephant in most people's room for the deck.
Yeah, we were joking when we talked about the Neo stride, thinking, oh man, maybe they're gonna ban Katrina finally, and then it's like, all right, looks like people are gonna run this new stride now. Oh man, rip the whatchamacall. Oh god, a new Stillwater Ichikishima. Now we're gonna get restricted from Ellie, and now we get to see Katrina going away. So far, all the waifus are getting banned out because this is just too broken.
Yeah.
I do think that Neonectar decks will be able to adapt a bit, though. Like, obviously, it's not going to be nearly as good, but like I'm sure there's like some multi-attacking strides that you could do, and if you combo it with like Cyclone, then like maybe there's something there.
Yeah, people joke about actually using old Asha the Grade 3, the on stride.
The OG.
Yeah,
the OG.
I don't know. It's just basically not the V version.
Yeah, so there's 3 of those.
Yeah.
So maybe it's blue. They were just saying something like that. I'm like, I don't know.
Okay,
what
the blue
those do.
Asha. So she's the 3rd newest one. There were 2 Ashas beforehand, but they were red. But yeah, there's a blue Asha that has retained her value at least to a good extent ever since V came out.
I mean, I don't know how good she is, but I know I have a friend who has like full SPs because it's the most beautiful like cards in Vanguard, right? So it's that those retain values for a different reason other than being,
factor, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. I hope people have some answer because I don't like seeing decks die in premium, but I mean maybe this one did have to. About time. But yeah. Going into that, actually, they also announced this new set coming out. We talked about it last week a little bit. What was this called? The Revival SSO5. What is this called?
It's like the festival thing or something.
Yeah.
Oh, the festival, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, they're reprinting all our PGs. So we already know that. All our old starters. And as we see here, we basically have like, all just everything here we would want. But I just want to go through like a few of these. So every clan got like 2 cards that were either like a grade 2 or a grade 1. Maybe there was like 1 grade 3 in here. And just see what we thought was kind of interesting. Awesome. So, Gordon and Marin, right?
Yeah.
Interesting picks. I mean, whatever. I don't think anyone's mad about that. People probably want Bedivere Ks, but whatever. I really think an interesting one here was OTT. They got 2 cards from a trial deck, right?
Yeah, they did. They got the Tango Magus, and they also got some sort of Maiden.
Yeah, it's another one that like searches top 5 for grade 3, puts it on top of the deck, and it gets 3K.
I got it.
I mean, I don't think anyone was dying for this card. I feel like Tetramagus is like already $22. I feel like this shit might have been able to be printed. But RIP, right? Oracle Think Tank is going to be most expensive deck again because of that card.
Yeah.
And then Angels got Metatron. It's good.
Yeah, alone grade 3, and Metatron's been coming in clutch, just being able to just heal outright.
And just going through a few of these, like there's some promos here that are interesting, but I think the big winner here is Shadow Paladin, right? Yeah. Anyone who doesn't play Shadow Paladin is super happy that Domain and Swordbreaker is being put into a rare form, and you can get from the set probably can still be not that cheap, probably like $5, maybe maybe more, depending on how many we get. Maybe be like the same. But definitely cheaper than it was. But I know a lot of Shadow Paladin fans, they're like kind of mad that they're getting it in rare form. Like, no, we want it to be even prettier, right? You can't make our deck cheap. It's not cool.
Red players just be like, hey, I will get my card printed rare. Whatever it is, it's still gonna be face, so
Yeah, it's actually really funny how a lot of players act. A couple other cards I'm seeing here is like Sable Dragonu and Airmo. Those were like pretty notorious for being very expensive and great grade ones in Kagro. They don't have a lot of great options. Right. And then the biggest winner besides Shadow Paladin is actually Miyomaru, right?
I'm very excited. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna buy this card. I just don't want to.
Yeah, I have one.
I was just gonna accept my fate that I just didn't have them. And now I don't have to.
Absolutely. Like I have one of these. So it's pretty bad when you see that, right? Some other notes is like Rising Phoenix. Those are like really expensive. This is more like just like a save you money set, you know. Kick Typhoons are very expensive, correct? And there's like a couple promos here. There's that I can talk about. Greed Shade and Romario are
that's like, a pretty big win, right?
Yeah, for Grand Blue. Yeah, absolutely. Actually, really funny. I just sold a Romario for $30 today. So after it was revealed too. So I was like, well, I guess I'll take it. Coral Assault, Wheel Assault. Lisa Lot got reprinted. Nobu and Quickie Worker. I guess that's fine. They were like a rare and a common, and whatever, right? It's expensive, rare and common now, but not anymore. Any other noteworthy things you want to talk about with this set, other than starters are going to be like looking cool, double rare style?
My like brain kind of blanked out, but like, did we talk about Wheel Assault?
Yeah, I said Coral and Wheel.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like these are kind of notoriously really good cards in every deck.
Yeah.
I think Tidal Assault's really good, but you don't have to run it in every deck.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that's almost like a bannable card. I feel like Tidal Assault is that good. So
yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty happy about the set overall. It's super weird. Like some of the choices you're like yes, and then a lot of the other choices you're just like why?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's just kind of weird.
I don't know why we needed Vivienne for Gold Paladin. Like, why couldn't we get more Bowmains? Like, I feel like there's more Gold Paladin. Like, there's more Blonde Azelles printed than Bowmains. And with how many like Blonde Azelles are out, like with the VR, the SVR, the SPs, the Kara Expo versions of them, right? I feel like there's too many versions of those out there compared to actual Bowmains out there. So if Ezos ever become a popular clan again, you'll see Bowmains going back to like $15-$20 each.
Oof.
But maybe they'll have a festival too. Electronic Boogaloo.
Reprint Festival 2.
I think, yeah, it should be in by December again. I'll look forward to see what the new art we're going to be seeing this time.
Yeah. I wonder if they'll have one that quick, because I feel like a lot of people were asking for this, but it took them for a very long time. So
yeah, I don't know that they would, like, for me personally, I don't know that they would do it in December, because I feel like the main draw here is the draw PGs getting reprinted. And like,
that's true.
To reprint them again, I don't know. And like, but the other option would be like the crits, but like that, not even like half the clans would have the crits.
I'd almost expect this never to be done again. Like, to be honest, it's for V, right? Like, how often have they ever done this? Have they ever done this before?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. You had some of the grade 1 PGs back in the OG days. You had like Cheergirl Melon got not only just a reprint, but a reprint in a new art. And other Sentinels also had, I guess, reprinted different art, which actually makes it look pretty cool at the time. But then as you got into the G format, it became just the generic PG was you can only guard the Vanguard, and then if you have a copy of that Sentinel in your drop zone, you get the counter charge one.
Yeah.
and any other perfect guard after, they were different skills. So say like with the Link Joker,
Mhm.
if you when you perfect guard an attack, if you have 3 or less cards in hand, you can draw a card. Uh, you had that similar skill for some of the other clans as well. And then there were even other PGs that came out where, say, like Royal Paladin, there's a Sentinel where you can drop it on Vanguard and you just have to Soul Blast one instead of discarding
Oh
the
yeah,
card.
Leanne. Yeah,
Yes, and
busted.
so yeah, that's pretty much just the way that the PGs have came out. So at least like seeing the reprints for the draw PGs are always welcome. I just wish that maybe more alternate arts were always nice because that they were pretty cool to collect
Hmm.
back then.
Yeah, and awesome. And also with this stream, they had a couple other reveals. They had like 2 Dimension Police double rare reveals. Pretty interesting. Were they cyborgs, right? Metalborgs.
Yeah, the metal borgs. It's neat that they like really kept the Legion theme in there.
Oh
Like
yeah,
back from the day, it was like when you could have 2 Vanguards, right? And they like kept the thing where they share the art,
Mhm.
and then they kind of same with the Great, right? Does the Great share art? The new Great? I don't actually know.
No, I mean the new end.
No, the Great.
oh no, it's like the Great with Neo Flame.
Yeah, the Great and Neo Flame. Do they have like
I don't think
a
so.
art pair?
I don't think so. That might have been a little too late. Like they started doing that with pretty much Musketeers.
Mm.
So they did that with the Great.
Oh yeah,
too.
that was an old Legion too.
And then they did that with a couple other. They only do that with a couple cards, and some of them aren't even legions. They did that with Pearl Sisters.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
the
yeah. I
OG
remember that.
Pearl
That's cute.
Sisters,
That's
yeah,
really
the
cute.
OG
I
Pearl
like that.
Sisters.
Yeah. So like there's also like a playmat with those. That's why I couldn't quite remember those. So yeah, I actually really want that playmat. So yeah, they had those reveals, and then they also talked about another reveal, which was basically, they're showing that Sharhat is coming.
Yes,
Night
my
Rose,
boy.
Night Rose is coming. So people are really hyped
Yeah.
about Night Rose. People are just more wondering what the mechanics are going to be. Harry is going to be there. And then, I mean, I think Harry was pretty much overlooked when they saw Venus Luquier.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Lukier is always money.
Yeah.
Ever
Comes
since she
getting
came
2
out,
VRs. So,
yeah,
pretty good.
it's gonna show like, all right, let's see what combos you can create this time, chat, and just go. All right, premium players, welcome to your new pathways to success.
Yeah. I feel like it's just going to be standard proof. I don't know. I like just kind of like the old Luquier. I don't know.
Mhm.
I think they're very careful about that. But
True. It's like this is why we restricted Dorian to 1.
and then of course we had, I think, what's the Mirakumo card?
It's Yasuye.
Mm-hmm. What did he do?
I'll
back-
be one of the
Oh,
I'll be
the
one of the
judgment.
few people that
What-
pop off.
What did he do
Because
back
I'm so
then?
excited.
I want to know because I'm a little vested in Mirakumo. So
Okay, so Murakumo back then was, I guess they still have like the same kind of thing. You're like copying copies or calling copies of like the cards on the field. So he did a lot of that. So like when you stride, he could his original form was you choose one of your rear guards and you call 2
Mhm.
copies of them.
Mhm.
But then their like old thing was that the ones that you called went back to the deck at the end of the turn.
Yeah.
So he also had a GB2 that was like, oh, when something goes back to the deck, you could call it like once per turn. So like instead of losing your guys, you would get to keep them. So it was like his original form.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
So who the hell knows what he's gonna do this time? I feel like that's
Yeah. Honestly, it's a total grab bag.
Yeah. So,
But I'm excited because the art looks amazing.
Yeah, it does look
Yeah,
really cool.
yeah.
Actually, the whole set like looks pretty
Yeah.
edgy
Yeah.
without Shadow Paladin, right?
Mhm.
Oh yeah, like Pale Moon, Dark Irregular, they were also very edgy. Just the
Yeah,
way
the-
that they approach demons and this crazy circus.
Yeah.
They got some really good art
Yeah,
styles.
Granblue has some
That's
sexy
fun.
pirates coming though, so we've been missing it, right?
Oh man, yeah, Night
Yeah.
Rose is finally gonna get in.
Now we
No,
have
Night-
Chads and Chad. I don't know if you guys know Chad the Ghosty, the new
Yeah, the Ghosty. Oh
new
man,
crit- the new crit.
all the Ghosties.
Yeah, they
Oh,
have the new
boy.
crit that's coming out for premium collection. It's Chad the
That's
Ghosty.
really funny.
So
Yeah,
be more hyped for that, right? Pretty funny.
Yeah.
dude, there's Stride Assist critical triggers, new versions.
Yeah.
That's super
Um,
hype.
Talking about the premium collection 2020. Well, we're just gonna jump into that for our last segment of this episode, right?
Yeah.
So last time when we released the video, or we recorded the video the day of, they had the Genesis stride. So we only have like 2 strides to talk about today, but we have a bunch of Cray Elementals to talk about as well, which is pretty big. And we'll just go into the 2 strides first. So of course we have here first is actually the Genesis one. So I don't know if you guys want to get to that one, but I'll explain it. So it has a stride step, but you actually don't want to stride it normally. You want to stride it during your attack phase. So its skill is Act G Zone. When your Vanguard attacks, if your Vanguard is grade 3, you can counterblast 1 and soul blast 6. And you stride it on your Vanguard from face down as rest, and it gets the power and critical of one of your heart cards gotten from the trigger effects in that turn, and then change the attacking unit for this battle to be this unit. I don't know a lot how the second part would work, but I'm guessing it would still get triple drive because it's this unit attacking. And then I feel like people were saying this was very expensive cost, but honestly, this card is super good. Like, it's just kind of a free. It's not that free, but just a good stride on top of the new Valkyrian card, the new Uranus.
All right, so this stride is pretty good with Himiko. So Himiko, you activate it, and then when you soul blast the crit, you get to pretty much just give like 3 critical triggers worth of power and crits to a unit. And so when you stride over into Marduk in your main phase, Marduk carries all, well, not in the main phase, but when you stride into Marduk, it carries over. So that means that all of the work that you did on Himiko carries over to Marduk. And this can also be the same with, say, with Valkyrian and Uranus shenanigans as well. So I feel like Bushi is trying to go towards a route where they want you to do more striding, not just in your stride phase, which is pretty cool because that means that, there are a lot of other shenanigans that you can do, and then you can go into your stride, whether in battle phase now or in main phase.
Yeah. What were you saying, Chris?
Oh, I don't really like this card at all.
Okay.
I don't think it's just really weird. Like Alfonso said, it works well with Himiko, but then you're talking about like a Soul Blast 12 turn, I think.
Yeah,
which is like
high.
Ridiculous. And then if your opponent has you're forced to like slap all your crits and power on the Vanguard if you want to get the full effect of Marduk.
Yeah.
Right. And then if they just have your opponent has a PG, then it's like,
Yeah, I feel like the soul cost, it actually kind of makes so you don't use Himiko. To be fair, I feel like this is strictly Valkyrian because Valkyrian puts cards into soul on attack, right?
Yeah, but it like doesn't even work well with Valkyrian because you want to play the 12 stand build, and so if you're attacking with Vanguard, you're hoping for stand triggers to get your Valkyrian back up. You know
exactly.
What I mean?
Yeah, and
so I'm just like,
that's exactly what it is.
Well, the thing is, you also have to realize there are other Genesis card supports that reduce the amount of soul blasting that you do like on placement of playing other costs for it. So it seems that when you're thinking of soul blasting 12, you can always minus that by 3 or by that. Even though it may not seem like a lot, there are ways for Genesis players to not only ramp soul charge, but to also reduce the amount of soul blasting cost they can do, so it wouldn't hurt as much when they do go into Marduk.
Yeah, and I
definitely agree.
I didn't personally talk to my friend, who plays Genesis, but when I do talk to him about these sorts of skills, like they also have the other share, the Soul Blast 15. And the biggest thing is these cards that reduce soul blasting costs, they are not worth putting into your deck for those slots, right? That it's strictly worse than what you want to do and you have to kind of be degenerate in premium, I feel like, right? In order to do well. And what we kind of see right now for the best build, there was one Genesis in the premium tournament last weekend, right? And what they do want to do is go into Valkyrian, rush Valkyrian, right? You want to use the new grade 3 from Astral Force because that one is an auto, or no, it's an act, right? And it keeps the Astral Plane in the back row. But the new Astral Poets kind of suck. Oh, no, the old Astral Poets really suck because it's a continuous. And so when you stride a card on top of it, you lose the Astral Plane. But this way you don't lose the Astral Plane, right? If you use the new one from I think Astral Force. The old ones, they go away because it's a continuous, right?
Oh, okay. I stand corrected.
So you do work your way around that.
Yeah, you do. And all this is really for, it just adds another plus 15k power to your Vanguard, right? Because you're plus 15k. And it adds another drive check. I really think that's what it's for. I mean, I guess the trigger effects it got from that turn. I mean, if you hit a crit and put it on Vanguard, that's cool. But if you're running 12 stands, You just get you another chance to get another stand trigger, and plus the soul cost is way too high. But that's what Valkyrian's for. He pretty much makes
okay, yeah,
he makes up all the soul cost.
I like it.
Yeah, I think that's strictly what it's meant for. So you can do Valkyrian stuff and then go into this.
Okay. I stand corrected. I respect it now.
Yeah.
I think I'm also curious about funny shenanigans with Minerva and other.
Oh
great
yeah.
Genesis.
Okay. I don't even know. I'm
Minerva's
Take it away, Alphonse.
Minerva's one of the better restanders, one of the best restanders in the game when she came out. She had a very light soul blasting cost, and you pretty much just had to just soul blast and then discard your 3 cards to restand. So maybe you can catch players off guard with that with just the 2 Vanguard swings. So give me like a pop. There are, I'm trying to think of other Genesis cards. There's also, I'm thinking of the witches too. Oh God, yeah. I'm thinking of the Genesis witches. I'm thinking of Minerva. I'm thinking of even just established decks like Wise Man. Like thinking what else could
and actually
Monaco.
the very really big thing about Genesis it's really good is any card that's on attack soul blast anything, right? That's like Wiseman's super good. So you can soul blast the a stand trigger. Is it a stand trigger? So you can stand a rear guard, right? That's why the grade 1 is really good. There's a grade 1 that's like at the end of the battle, the boosted, you can soul blast 2 to put it in your hand, right? So that's currently what was kind of being used as well with Iwa Nagahime. And shout out to Muhammad and my friend Davey, who pretty much will play that build. And there's a new like kind of tiger that was put in Genesis last time. I don't know if you guys saw this. It copies all the effects of your Vanguard's like triggers that turn. It's like on attack, Soul Blast 3. It gets all the.
You're right.
It gets like all the power and critical of like your Vanguard's effects. So you can put all like effects to Himiko, and then it gets the effect with that. And I think I'm not sure if and you can Soul Blast it to restand it, right? Because you Soul Blast.
Yeah.
So there's more unique things, but the thing is, it's just these Holly Soul Blast cards really kind of suck, and I feel like Valkyrian going Force 2, and then go with this new Uranus, where you only need 3 Force markers.
Yeah.
Is probably better.
Yeah, it's quicker.
It's quicker, right? That's what premium kind of is. It's kind of degenerate like that, and you kind of have to play like that.
All right. There's a lot more uses than I thought for this one, but the minimum is stride while your opponent's on grade 2.
Yeah, I don't really know if this changes. I don't think this changes too much, to be honest, compared to what was there. But it's a stride, so maybe we'll see. That was a long conversation about that. Heck yeah. All right. Next card that was revealed today, actually. I really like this card. I feel like a lot of people are sleeping on it because all the other reveals are happening today. And they said, oh, it's not really a hard plus. And I was like, listen, I'm listening to like another podcast as well, Vanguard podcast. It's like brand new. And I feel like a lot of them, they don't see like certain cards, Like I feel like if you guys don't know, Sterling Witch Momo, Oracle Think Tank new stride. So you can stride it regularly, and you do want to stride it regularly. So it's once per turn. When it attacks, counterblast 1, flip a card from your G zone face up. You discard up to 3 cards from your hand, and for each card that was discarded, your front row gets 10k power, right? So you can get like basically plus 30k. And then if you discarded 3 cards at the end of the battle, you can stand this unit and it gets drive -2. So it gets triple drive and then single drive, sort of like that. And a lot of people are like, well, this is actually pretty good because it's good offensive power. You do neg really hard, right? But you actually have a good first stride. But the big thing is there's this card called Fusilli Magus. I want to say it's Fusilli Magus. I'll pull it up on the screen in a minute. So it's it's a newer Magus card, and it's just a grade 3. That's just Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1. If your Vanguard's name is Magus in it, so basically your heart card, you can give them an extra drive for the rest of the turn. So if you have 2 of these out, it can get like penta drive and then like triple drive, right? So you're not really negging.
Super dirty.
You're not really negging at all. It's actually super good, right?
Yeah, I don't think OTT ever got a restander. I'm trying to think.
This is the first one.
This is the first one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so I don't know if they needed that because I don't know what their matchups are against clans that like retire or bind, or just mess with their opponent's board like Link Joker. But a restanding Vanguard is always super good, especially if you give your front row 30k power.
Yeah.
And it's restanding. So I mean, this is better than most.
Honestly, it's just like really good.
Yeah.
Like even if you don't give it the extra drive checks or whatever, I still think it's like really solid. Yeah. Like it's what at least like I can't do math very quickly. 27, what 57?
Yeah.
Yeah, 57 restanding by itself is already pretty good. Like a lot of restanders are like discard however much you drive check anyway, so it's not like
I think a lot of the new cards, like for the next sets coming out with Susanoo, is gonna be like it gets like skills or power if you for how many cards you discarded that turn.
Oh,
because that's kind of what's going on right now with like some of the cards that were already revealed.
Okay.
Yeah,
they get even crazier.
I want to see what in the world Susanoo is going to bring to the table this time, because unfortunately he was definitely unfortunate on one of the lower ends of stride break quality.
Yeah.
But at least with the sets and the stride breaks that he had, OTT was at least a decent tier 2. So seeing his reveal come back, I was wondering, man, this is hopefully going to be something pretty cool to have him just swing his sword and just try and see what he's going to do this format.
And it's going to be like a lot more different than what we're used to currently right now with OTT being pretty much Tsukiyomi based, just so you can draw a couple extra cards and then just go to Ichitam play again. So this is like
Ichitam.
Something that's not Ichitam.
Yeah.
The thing is, you could just ride this, and the next turn go into Ichitam. So
yeah,
it's still Ichitam, guys. No secret.
This would like be really good because like they can stack crits, right? Pretty easy. So then you're like, I don't know. I don't want to deal with like a 67 restanding crit Vanguard.
Yeah, exactly.
On their first stride too.
This deck was already pretty good. Like before OTT, their old stride got banned. So IMBD, this one's gonna be banned as well, right? So no, like people ran Bobos just so you can get that, and they ran Magical Coleco. I don't know if you remember the starter. They don't run it. You can't run it as a starter anymore. But basically, you just choose 3 cards out of your deck, and you reveal to your opponent. And your opponent has to choose one of them, and it goes to your hand. The other 2 go to the drop zone. And so basically you just choose 3 Bobos and you get a Bobo and they can't damage deny you. Pretty powerful. I don't know. Oracle Think Tank has very powerful options. And
yeah, they can bring a game in, and they also still retain that they can pretty much legally stack the deck. There's not many clans that you can say that's like, oh yeah, this crit trigger, I'm gonna put this on the top.
Yeah, but it has. I think OTT. I think a lot of people have seen the brick potential with OTT. Like if you've played standard, you've had games where you just draw blindly the crit triggers, and then you check the top of the deck and you can't find a trigger to save your life.
Yeah, but then when you get like Tetramegas or just the ways to kind of refund over those crit triggers. So like, oh, okay, this crit trigger I drew, I'll put it back on. Or when I just scry, I can just see like, all right, draw this normal unit, put a trigger on, or put the crit trigger on. There are ways, but it seems that the brick potential has it lowered a bit just because of the amount of scrying and legal stacking that can go on. I believe that OTT can still have its place in the meta. It's just that we need something to help accelerate or at least get through our grade 2 turn to really have a good impression to say that we're going to take the lead for the rest of this game.
Yeah,
and you
absolutely.
Have to
I feel like OTT is a really interesting clan where it's one of the clans, actually one of the only clans in standard, but definitely in premium. There's a couple others. We have to have a really good poker face, we have to be kind of an experienced player, like in a tournament setting where if you were to check a top card of your deck, top or bottom it, you could think of how to mess with your opponent to make them, make mistakes. So
yeah, it's a really good bluff mechanic, and everyone knows because there are games where I don't have a crit trigger and I have a Tetramegas in hand, and there are just times where, of course I can't reveal a critical trigger from my hand, but I don't have it. But especially when I have like Rectangle Magus or, just using CEO, just being able to scry. And of course, if there's a card that I would need for next turn, say if I ran like a grade 1 PG or something like that, then by psyching out your opponent, by messing up their defenses, by thinking, oh, this person definitely just stacked the trigger on me, or did he? So I have to, I would just mess up with their mindset a little bit just to see is this the guard that I want to go to?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
and there were times where I was able to kind of do that bluff, and so when they see the non-trigger, I'm like, oh god, if I did one to pass, I would have been fine, but I did two to pass, and now I don't have enough to guard one of the two remaining rear guard columns that are going to be
Yeah,
swinging at me.
absolutely. Cool. Yeah. So I think it's pretty much it with the OTT stuff, but pretty cool. But we'll go into the Cray Elemental stuff right now, and we'll go into
Yeah,
in the order that we saw them in. But we'll go into the grade 2 and the grade 3 first, but we'll probably just hit the grade 2 first. So the for grade 2 is Cloud Elemental Mowork. And its skill is if you have 4 or more units with no continuous actor auto, you can counterblast one, switch your deck up to one of the grade 3, which is Thunder Elemental Body Giron, and write it as stand and shuffle your deck. If you wrote it, you can flip a Cyclone from your G zone face up. So it's a superior ride engine for counterblast, but you have to have a pretty built field, right? Which is, we didn't at the time. We're like, wow, this seems pretty good, like the superior ride engine, but this is like a pretty heavy cost. But maybe it'll be kind of fixed with these future cards, right? As we explain it as we go. So I'm gonna try to rush through some of these cards that kind of go together. And then
Let's do it.
the grade 3 is 11k grade 3, no gift because it's Cray Elemental, right? And it's on Vanguard one place. You can Soul Blast one. Look at 7 cards on the top of your deck. Reveal up to 2 of them that have no continuous actor auto abilities, and to put them into your hand. So you can put heal triggers in your hand. You can put anything that's has no continuous acting auto. So that's pretty cute, right? Then also on Act Vanguard, you can. If you have 4 more rear guards, so basically the same setup as before when you superior road, that have no continuous actor auto abilities, you can counterblast one. You can just stride a Cyclone right away. So you can stride pretty fast. It's for basically this combo of cards, which builds up GB super quick. You're already like GB3 basically. So
I think it's 2. Yeah, it could be 2 or 3.
Does
It's really fast.
Wait, does Cyclone flip a card?
I don't think so. I have it up.
I'm just gonna check Cyclone real quick.
It does not.
It is not. Okay, so you're just GB2 at this point, right?
But it's still so fast,
Yeah, it's pretty quick. So if you're like a GB2 reliant deck, Bermuda Triangle, whoever, right? You might want this, right? Or whoever deck wants GB early might want something like this. And you can put this to any deck, so any superior ride shenanigans can happen. I mean, it's not like it's broken as Twa, but it's a definite options, but kind of skipping a little bit ahead because this seems like a really heavy cost. Like I feel like I'm not doing this card enough justice right now by skipping this, but personally, superior riding and superior striding, getting GB really fast, with basically 2 counterblast or even 1 counterblast to go to grade 3 and start the next turn is really, really strong. Basically gives options to every deck, not just including just only Cray Elemental. And here we go. The next one I'm going to talk about the order card while it's here. So it's a grade 1 order card, and you counterblast 1 and turn a card from your G zone face up. So the thing that's so crazy about this is you're already hitting GB1 just with this card. So you don't have to run anything else, right? You don't even have to plus. You can just counterblast 1, use this card, and then flip a card, right? So you're already GB1. So you might see this card in a lot of decks, actually. Then you look at top 7 cards of your deck, reveal up to 2 units without continuous actor autos abilities, and add them to your hand, and you shuffle your deck. So you can basically, just be super broken, add heal triggers, and just go for a GB8 play. And also, already hit GB1 super quick. Very, very busted, I think. This card's super strong because you plus. But the thing is, that makes up for a lot of the things we were talking about a minute ago, with having a lot of getting a lot of those units in your field, right? Because these grade 2 and the grade 3 might have an issue getting a lot of those cards out.
All right, so I think that with this Tempest Order card, it seems that we are really approaching more just vanilla stuff because, of course, we're only restricted to the vanilla card text. But one of the first things is just to, all right, run this in Hellheart 8, and all right, I already get my GB1, and I get a chance to get up to 2 heal triggers, and just to ramp up to GB5 by the time, without even going into my first stride. So how hard they can come in as clutch as turn 2 or by the time they go into their second stride,
Yeah.
if all things go well. I think, man, it seems that there's just a lot of vanillas that people would run just to have like the 12K bodies, just to
Hmm.
have as a base. I'm trying to think of like, other things, but
Bigger shield.
there,
Yeah.
yeah, bigger shield. There could be a lot of different ways that Tempest Order could be utilized to its fullest. But at least off the top of my head, those are the two types of situations where I would see Tempest Order being an auto include.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, this card's crazy. I mean, I know. I think like everyone has been talking about it, and
Mhm.
just like the activating. I think the thing that everyone's like hype about is the activating GB early, right?
Yeah.
And you know, you could even argue that maybe that's worth just like losing a card for.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Just like not even grab anything
Like,
from the top of your
can you
deck.
time leap like on turn 2? Like I don't even know. Like how
Yeah,
some of
you
these
can.
yeah, or like you let's say if you have enough soul built up, you can just stand cat it already.
Mhm.
So pretty good. And then the next grade 1, Rain Elemental Zazan. Now, this card is actually super good. Of course, again, I feel like we're saying that all these cards are super, super good.
They are.
When
They
placed,
are.
Soul Blast 1, call up the 2 cards with no no abilities, right? From your hand to rear guard. And if you call 2 you can choose 1 Storm Elemental Cyclone that's in your G zone that's face down and flip it. And then you draw 2 cards. So basically it's on place. Soul Blast 1, wash and flip 1 from face up. So again, you're building hand. You're digging and you're building field basically for free, if you have those cards with those qualities. So pretty good. I mean, it's kind of hard because you could still like call like criticals and heals or draws that have no skill on them. If you really bricked, if you're not running a lot of vanillas, or if you're just running kind of a pure vanilla deck with this and relying on some of your strides. Yeah. Absolutely. This card I think is included in a lot of decks that might be looking to just kind of do what the other things want to do. So
yeah, I'm thinking that they're going to be using that the 9K vanillas, the 12K vanillas, the 7K, 15K shield vanillas. They're all going to be seeing some sort of use now that they're going to be united under these elementals, these Cray elementals. I can't even imagine like going up against a clan that would use pretty much whatever clan that they would want that has access to those vanillas, and then run the Cray elementals and just go, hey, like what happened?
Yeah.
I got beat down by Cyclone. I got Cycloned.
People are looking into kind of even crazier things. So they run the Gize starter, but not as your starter. Okay, you just have it in your deck, right? And by having that, you can have every kind of Zerath dragon in your G zone.
Oh, so, you don't have to run as a starter?
Yeah, no. You don't have to run it as a starter. As long as it's in your deck, you can run any Zerath dragon in your G zone. Like, you can run all of them, right? So what people are doing is, you can, if you have this Cray Elemental grade 3, and then you discard it, you can go into any Zerath dragon in any clan. So there's some really big implications for a lot of decks if you can have a busted skill.
All right, I'm gonna release the super meme busted thing that I've come up with. Okay, so you're playing.
I thought of another one too. Go ahead.
Narukami, quote unquote geese, right?
Okay.
There's a new grade 3 called Blat Arrow Dragon.
Okay.
It doesn't let your opponent's auto abilities activate.
So no
PGs, Ichikashima, they got banned. So if you use this deck, you can use that effect with Zoa.
Yeah. New one.
Pretty dirty.
Look at this one. Okay.
So
Flanger is only banned in standard, yeah?
Yeah.
So you flanger him with Zoa. That's it. That's the whole That's the whole thing.
I'm feeling a lot of this conversation is going to revolve around Zoa.
Yeah. Like, I was trying to think, Ultima, nah, Dust, nah. Yeah, Zoa sounds good.
you have a toolbox who's 6 of some of the most powerful strides in the game. Maybe not all the Zerath dragons are shared equally, but being able to dust your opponent. Oh, it's like, oh, do I want to dust them, or do I want to ulta them, or do I want to Zoa them? It's kind of like choose your fatality type of thing, and just be like, dude, I'm dead. Just do it.
Well, Zoa's the easiest I win because you have to hit. You got hit with it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting how that works, but it absolutely could work.
I'm
my
absolutely
God,
gonna
it's
try to make it work because I don't know. It just sounds funny.
Yeah.
I'm especially hyped that now that I've been informed, I don't have to run Geese as my starter.
Yeah, you absolutely don't. I think they had that. People were doing that in like another build. I think it was Nubatama or Mirakumo you could do this with. But like it was just like some theory thing that was bad. But now that you have a grade 3, did they have grade 3 elementals before?
Now that you mention it, I think I tried to do this with Geese or with Glendios before because you could run the reverse cards.
Yeah. Did they have
This is just
grade 3
better.
Cray elemental cards before? I'm sure they did, right?
No, this is the first one.
Oh, then there you go. That's easy. That's
Yeah.
There you go. Wow.
This is the first. Oh boy.
So good. And you can hit GB3 so fast.
So fast.
So fast. You just end it. Turn 2. You got it. Just don't crit. That's so funny. Wow.
It's like it's funny because you can say I won with no skills. I'm like, wait, what do you mean you won with no skills? I'm like, my deck is completely vanilla except
Yeah.
for
Except for all these really busted cards.
There's gonna be a lot of funny memes like, dude, that deck takes no skills. That deck takes no skills.
Oh my God.
That's a pretty good one. All
The
right.
definition of a helmet deck.
Yeah,
right?
and then we just got another stride as well. Not stride, a grade 1 that was released. Cutest name. Also, by the way, I just realized on this website they have all the phonetics for Japanese. So Ia Elementuru Bufu. So Air Elemental Bufu. It's a grade 1 as a skill continuous. And it's a very interesting card because I only think this is useful in a couple things. But during your opponent's turn, if 3 or more new cards were put into your damage zone this turn, you may bind this unit instead of revealing the top card of your deck into your trigger zone for your damage check. So basically what it's saying here is, instead of taking a damage, you bind this card. Unless I'm completely wrong.
No, that's definitely what it is.
That's definitely what it is. But
Yep.
I'm trying to think, what deck would use this? Okay, listen, we already know Angel Feather, because you could
other than Angel Feathers, right?
do crazy stuff, right? And I think this would be pretty interesting, especially if they go to 7 or 8 damage to lose, right? This card pretty much stalls it out pretty. You use G guard once, and then this card is basically a perfect card. But it feels kind of slow. It just guards one thing, right? Not like nothing crazy. Like, why not just draw a couple cards with this instead?
I think that when you say slow, I'm thinking Lord can probably make something new of it in case they get rushed pretty bad. But even with the Eagles, even with all the defenses that they have, they can always say, I could probably tag 1 or 2 of these in here just to try it out.
But they have to take 3 damage that turn in order to use it.
Yeah, it's
one
it's a different tech. Yeah.
Yeah, like they have to be like at 0 damage, and then they're getting hill-hearted, and then they just do it to guard one thing, So very interesting. Or you could
the loop too.
Yeah,
the loops, the pale moon loops, any type of deck that loops, the wise man loops.
It doesn't stop anything, It doesn't. It's like Honolly is better than this because Honolly stops those multi-attackers, right?
Yeah, it's
there are some cases where this is better than Honolly in terms of like insta-kill decks because you could just like stop a damage from Geese. Or you could stop one of Messionics 6 damage.
Actually, those two, that's actually really smart. Those two are really good to bring up. Yeah.
So it's like it is very similar to Honolly, but it has some different applications.
I don't know. I just don't see this being played, to be honest. But
in Angel Feather, it's nuts. I think
really?
It's super nuts. Because it depends on what kind of deck you want to go for. But there are ways to there's an Angel Feather G Guardian which rescues on your opponent's turn, obviously, and there's the no seal grade 1. So you can actually swap extra damage during your opponent's turn.
Yeah.
So you don't have to take 3, right?
Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah.
The biggest one that comes to mind is obviously the no seal engine.
Yeah.
Because if you take 1 damage and then it's a no seal, then you kind of boss 1, you add that to your hand, you put top tech and damage, and you only need to do 1 more swap to get this online.
Is this Angel Geese support? I'm trying to
Angel Geese, oh boy.
Yeah, I feel like everything we're just mean back to Angel Geese. But
it's all about Cray Elemental Geese. What did we just talk about?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we of course Cray Elemental Geese. But the thing is, you don't have to. Cause I think if it's in your deck, you still get trigger power. So
yeah,
you're still defensive. Yeah, it's pretty hype. I'm trying to think if there's anything else you guys. Should I talk about anything else, guys? Before we're here. Uh,
I don't know.
um,
Think this set so far we're just missing a couple more strides.
yeah. So going
And
through it real quick, we're missing Mega Colony,
yep.
Aquaforce, Bermuda Triangle, Pale Moon, Spike Brothers, and Tachikaze, and Gold Paladin, Shadow Paladin. So that's 8 still reveals to go, and
Yep.
it's supposed to release in 17 days in Japan. So we might do another video next week, if it's
Oh yeah,
possible,
for another round.
for another round of like 5 cards, or something like that.
Man, I wonder what's going to be coming around the corner because all those clans that are missing have either won a major tournament like a Worlds, they're a meta deck, or they are popular.
Sure.
Like all 8 of those clans. Like
Yeah. We'll see. Absolutely, we'll see. Okay. Well, I think we've gone through everything we could today, and want to thank you two gentlemen for coming on again, right, and
no worries.
supplying great content for me.
It's always fun to do these podcasts. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and thank you guys for stopping by and watching this video too.
Yeah. Shout out to all you watching out there. Shout out to Quinlan for being such a good vision organizer / owner, and helping us out with everything we need, and also running Vision tournaments, right? Again, I was Sage from Team Vision, and
I am the Alphonse Use of Team Greylock and Team Vision.
and I've been Chris. Thank you all for tuning in.
peace.
Peace, guys.